my first professional fight.
No, but you're still average. You're not. You're not
90% thinking the fight's going to happen. But I'm struggling. I'm thinking, this boy can't be so stupid.
What it is, isn't it? I could say a lot of things about him, but I respect my opponent. It's not for me to talk.
The boxing world watches in disbelief as Jake Paul gets dropped in sparring before the AJ fight, and the whole thing feels almost comedic. He struggles to handle a simple session, yet speaks like a seasoned warrior. Now everyone sees it. He's hype without depth, and Joshua will expose him in the bright showdown ahead.
What I'm saying is, he's a soft touch. He's waiting to get knocked out. So the promoter says to himself, right, he scratches his head and says, you know what, I need to get my fighter a couple of easy ones just to get his confidence back so he can bring him back to the fore, bring him back to everybody's imagination. Everybody sees him knocking somebody out, looking good doing it. So this guy's made for Anthony Joshua. It'll be another Ngannou early night for Joshua.
Eddie Hearn admits he spots a bit of skill in Jake Paul, but even he can't escape the fact that the sparring session was nowhere near a real contest. It reveals how quickly Jake folds under pressure when every eye is on him, while Anthony Joshua stands on an entirely different level. This fight is set to strip away every illusion he's been carrying.
So you have to give him credit, and I'm a big fan. I don't want to. You know, when I watched it back, I was like, I saw a few people. Oh, Eddie's a hater. I'm not a hater. I think he's the goods, but I don't think that was.
Derek Chisora makes it clear that Jake Paul is drowning far beyond his depths. The footage shows he can't handle fighters who truly push him. Meanwhile, Anthony Joshua trains with elite professionals, each movement from Joshua carrying precision and power. Jake Paul remains all talk, laid bare before everyone watching.
I look at everybody he's got in his sparring camp. I personally don't believe that you can actually, the sparring partners he's got right now, they're pushing him to be menace.
Johnny Nelson says Jake Paul's stamina is crashing, and despite bragging about his prep, his steps look heavy and easy to read. Anthony Joshua moves with explosive footwork and endless drive. Jake is outmatched and won't survive against a fighter who blends sharp skill with relentless force.
And I said, look, if you're to believe that he had the best training camp, his legs have gone. And if I've got it wrong.
Duke McKenzie lays Jake Paul bare, calling him out as a fragile fighter who folds the moment real pressure hits, and everyone watching can see he's nowhere near ready for true competition. Anthony Joshua's experience and polished technique make him untouchable, while Paul scrambles just to stay afloat. Shannon Briggs adds even more weight, pointing out how Jake can't stay on his feet, his mistakes piling higher as the hype around him sinks. Joshua's precision and sharp ring intelligence allow no space to breathe, no moment to recover, and Jake Paul simply isn't prepared for a man who punishes every slip without a hint of mercy. Anthony Joshua stays locked into his own preparation, steady and sharp, while the world watches Jake Paul stumble, and Joshua's discipline and calm remind everyone why he stands miles ahead in skill and composure. Every slip Paul makes only exposes how unready he is to face a fighter who rules the ring with intelligence and controlled, punishing power.
I'm hearing things that he's been dropped in the ring, in the gym and stuff like that. But that's okay too, because I took a couple spills, little slips in the ring, in the gym. That's okay, but we're going to see. This is going to be a good.
Joe Rogan points out the massive size and reach advantage Anthony Joshua has over Jake Paul, and it's almost painful watching Paul pretend to look confident when he's outmatched from every direction. Joshua knows exactly how to control the space between them and deliver power with purpose. Jake Paul has never stood in front of someone who dominates with this kind of precision in his entire career. Every punch Joshua throws will be deliberate and dangerous, while Paul will struggle just to close the distance, and his limited skills will be exposed.
People are entitled to talk about sparring. People are entitled to not talk about sparring. I just got to make sure that I handle my own corner. And how I'm gonna handle my own corner is do what I do, go out to fight every night. That the dates are put in front of me.
Derek Chisora makes it plain that Jake Paul has been leaning on soft opposition, and it's obvious he hasn't developed anything remotely threatening for a clash with Anthony Joshua. Every move he makes looks predictable and flimsy, and with sparring partners who never push him, he walks into this fight completely unprepared. Joshua's experience and raw power will overwhelm him from the opening bell, and every passing second in that ring will expose the enormous gap between a true fighter and someone who built an entire image on nothing but hype.
Versus 6'6" Anthony Joshua. Jake weighed in for the Tyson fight at 199. Joshua against Ngannou was 252.
6'6", just not just 6'6", but 6'6", and knows how to use every fucking inch of it. Knows how to keep that stick in your face. He was keep that jab in his face, and that right hand, if it hits you, you're fucked.
Anthony Joshua is showing exactly why he stands leagues above Jake Paul in every corner of the boxing world. His mindset and skill set are complete, allowing him to break down opponents in countless ways. Paul remains a one-dimensional fighter who leans on luck and hype. Every move Joshua makes is sharp, intentional, and precise. He will dismantle Paul not just with sheer strength, but with timing and intelligence. While Paul flails and hopes to hang on, Joshua will execute his plan with total control, proving once again why he is untouchable when the fight is real.
Everybody's got in his sparring camp. I personally don't believe that you can actually, the sparring partners he's got right now, they're pushing him to be menace. You know?
Lawrence Soy is ripping into Jake Paul, highlighting that his lack of real skill is obvious even to fighters far from elite. Paul's weak punches and sloppy technique make him an open target for someone like Anthony Joshua, who carries power, precision, and total control over every part of the fight. Paul might brag about speed or athleticism, but none of it will shield him from a true fighter. Every jab, every calculated step from Joshua will make it clear to the world that Paul is completely out of his depth, and all the hype around him is meaningless.
On punch power, you know what, it takes a lot more than that to be a great fighter. A lot more than that to be a great fighter, so there's various ways I'll win. I got the fighter spirit, and that's how I'll go in there and break him down.
Derek Chisora is laying it out plainly. Jake Paul is walking into a total mismatch. Anthony Joshua won't even need to push his full power to make this fight look effortless. Paul has never faced someone who can control the ring, set the pace, and land every shot with authority. Each punch from Joshua will remind him, and the fans, that hype can never replace real skill. Chisora's words make it clear. This will be a dominant display, and Paul won't survive a single round without every weakness being exposed.
So stuff like speed and like athleticism plays more of a factor because
Duke McKenzie is making it crystal clear that Jake Paul is far from a world-class fighter. His recent knockout laid bare every weakness, proving he can't handle the pressure of facing someone at Anthony Joshua's level. Paul might pull off flashy moments, but they vanish against real competition. Joshua brings decades of experience, precision, and raw power that Paul can't touch. Every movement will be punished, every punch measured against him, and fans will witness the stark contrast between a hyped celebrity and a true champion in the ring.
Fight for him, and I think this should be laid to rest because I don't think AJ's gonna go in and try and pat. AJ's gonna smoke him.
Frank Warren is calling out Jake Paul for making his fights seem easier than they actually are. His behavior is absurd, revealing he's not serious about real competition. Anthony Joshua, by contrast, approaches every bout with strategy, precision, and discipline. Paul's attempts to fake skill are laughable, and everyone watching sees just how unprepared he is. Joshua will dismantle him with timing, power, and intelligence, while Paul's lack of true training and overconfidence only underscore the massive gap between hype and real boxing ability.
I don't think he's world class. He's not really my cup of tea. I mean, I don't look at boxing probably the way you do or most sort of fans do. I look at it.
Johnny Nelson is exposing Jake Paul's physical decline. No matter what he says about his prep, his legs are fading, his mobility faltering. Anthony Joshua faces none of these issues, moving with speed, power, and pinpoint precision. Every misstep by Paul will be punished. Joshua's skill and experience will leave Paul utterly outmatched. This isn't about hype or social media fame. Every movement will reveal that Jake can't stand against a true champion, his weaknesses laid bare for the world to see.
You want to go sparring for? Behind closed doors. Let all the fans see it. Do it in a ring, get paid for it. I mean, it's be the biggest fight ever. Why do you want to do that? That's nonsense. It's stupid, ridiculous. Want to make the fight, that's the...
Eddie Hearn points out that Jake Paul's performance has slipped. He's no longer the force people imagine. His speed and reactions are lacking, and he struggles the moment any competent opponent steps in. Anthony Joshua will exploit every weakness without mercy. Every punch he throws will be calculated, and every mistake by Paul punished. Joshua's mix of intelligence, power, and precision leaves Paul with no chance in a real fight. The hype around him is fading fast, and the reality of facing a true champion will strip it all away.
And I said, look, if you're to believe that he had the best training camp, his legs have gone. And if I've got it.
Tommy Fury is brutally honest about Jake Paul's limits, comparing his own chances to the overwhelming threat Anthony Joshua represents. Even in the most unlikely scenarios, Joshua would dominate instantly. Paul has no tools to contend with a fighter who combines size, skill, and power. Joshua's mastery of distance and pace makes Paul look utterly amateur. Every second in the ring will be a nightmare for him, and all the hype built around Paul will crumble when confronted with a true world-class competitor like Anthony Joshua.
He is looking like a beast in camp for this fight because he would have put everything into this camp. But it doesn't mean that can always translate in a ring when you get to the back end of your career. He's had loads of injuries. He's definitely coming to...
Frank Warren stresses that Jake Paul might think he's ready, but it's clear he's entirely outclassed. Anthony Joshua is a master of strategy, skill, and raw power. Paul can believe in himself all he wants, but belief can't match decades of experience. Every move he tries will be anticipated and exploited. Joshua's dominance is unavoidable, and the fight will stand as a brutal reminder that hype can never replace true boxing ability and proper preparation.
If I can beat Jake Paul, then excuse my French, what the fuck is Anthony Joshua going to do to Jake Paul? I think my dad said that AJ could beat him with his prick, and I completely will back that up. Even if AJ had a broken arm in there, it still wouldn't go past a minute.
Tony Bello highlights the enormous physical advantage Anthony Joshua holds over Jake Paul. The gaps in height, reach, and weight are staggering, and Paul simply can't compete on this level. Every punch Joshua lands will hit with devastating effect, leaving Paul utterly overwhelmed. The difference in size and skill will make the fight completely one-sided. Joshua's control of the ring and ability to exploit every flaw ensures Paul has no chance, and fans will see just how far he is from being a serious contender.
It's a dangerous fight. Of course, it's a dangerous fight, but I'm not here to be there selling their show. I've got no interest in the fighters from that perspective. I just think that he is a licensed boxer. He's trained. He knows what he's getting involved with. He's not an idiot, and he knows what he's going to be up against. But he must believe in.
Duke McKenzie lays it all bare. Jake Paul's reputation is pure hype. Even a paycheck won't make him a credible fighter. Anthony Joshua's power and skill make him a real threat, and a clean shot could seriously hurt Paul. This is a brutal mismatch, exposing just how unprepared he is. The fight will prove that social media fame can't replace true boxing talent, and Joshua will dominate from bell to bell, leaving no doubt about who's truly superior.
Joshua, who's now 5 inches bigger than you, maybe more, or 4 or 5 inches, and about 100 pounds heavier. You just don't go from there right up to there. I don't believe it. And I won't believe it until the two of them got 10-ounce gloves on in a boxing ring. Because if Anthony Joshua puts 10-ounce gloves on and gets in a boxing ring and Jake Paul is in the other corner,
The final showdown between Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul is shaping up as a total mismatch, and recent footage has confirmed what fans have long suspected. Jake Paul's flaws are impossible to ignore. His lack of skill, weak defense, and poor conditioning leave him completely unready for a fighter of Joshua's caliber. Joshua has mastered every corner of boxing, from precise footwork to perfect timing and devastating power. Every punch he throws is calculated, able to dismantle opponents without a hint of luck or hype. Social media fame won't save Paul from the harsh reality of facing a true champion. Joshua's discipline, experience, and ring intelligence ensure Paul will struggle to land anything meaningful and will be punished relentlessly from the first bell to the last. This isn't just a fight. It's a stark lesson in what separates hype from real greatness.